Welcome to UK Paranormal Search, and tonight we find ourselves again at the infamous Derby Gaol, a place that is steeped in history. As the sun sets and darkness descends upon us, I'll be embarking on a daring solo investigation within these haunted walls. Join me as we venture into the heart of Derby Gaol, where we uncover the truth behind the haunted tales that shroud this place. Stay tuned for an unforgettable night of exploration and discovery as we investigate Derby Gaol. Derby Gaol, built in 1756, stands as a testament to a bygone era of punishment and despair. It is also said that Derby is the most haunted city in Great Britain, and within these walls are the ghosts of the past still lingering in the shadows. For centuries, this jail has bore witness to brutal executions and housed countless prisoners. Set beneath the road, this hidden relic of the past still stands as a grim reminder of the atrocities committed within the jail. Some say the spirits of Derby Gaol still wander its halls, trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead. And as long as its doors remain open, the shadows of the past will continue to haunt those who dare to enter.
This room, I mean, this would have been a day room for the prisoners, because they were allowed out during the day, you know, and they'd come and work in here. That's why it would have had a big window there. It had a fireplace at the back. Yeah. There is a fireplace through there, but it was so badly, because this was the gents' urinals when I took this place over, because this was a nightclub. But basically, situation here, there's a skeleton, right? We had a lady on one of the night vigils one night, fled, left the building, because she saw, funnily enough what I've seen, a grey, shadowy haze of a person shaped here in the corner. She thought it was to do with the skeleton. I'm convinced it's not, because before we turned this into what it is now, the murder room, this was Derby Police Museum. And here in the corner was a policeman's dummy. Modern one, high-vis jacket, handcuffs, the lot. And it had been there for 5 years. Same spot, propped up against the wall. One night, 3:30 in the morning, luckily on CCTV, the dummy, this door locked, right? The dummy suddenly goes, 1, 2, and hurls itself across the room. Policeman's helmet bounces and hits the corner. Now, it's not possible. Of course it's not possible. There's nobody in the place. It's on camera. This door's locked. Just me being me, tick the normal boxes, yeah. Just, is it possible? Is it, if it's locked, right, and bolted, could someone, get their hands, no, come on. No. But you know, if they did, You'll see that on CCTV, won't you? I have only one explanation. Yeah, poltergeist activity in there, no doubt about it.
This is the condemned man's cell, a grim chamber where prisoners will spend the final night before facing execution. Within this cell, people have sensed feelings of sickness and tears have been shed by countless souls when they have entered this room. Near the cell door, a haunting tale lingers. Two brothers, known as the Jones brothers from Ashbourne, once occupied this very cell. Their crime was burglary, and unable to bear the weight of their impending doom, they chose to end their lives within these unforgiving confines. Their bodies were discovered hanging near the door, a tragic testament to the despair that lingers in this place. In death, their fate was no less cruel. They were laid to rest beneath the gallows in unconsecrated ground. To the debtor's cell, a place rumoured to be more haunted than even the condemned man's cell. In times past, debtors found themselves confined within these walls until their debts were settled. Freedom was not granted until the debt was paid in full, and you also had to pay the blacksmith to remove the heavy chains that bounded them. Only then could they step out into the light of day once more. During renovations to the cell's window, a builder working within the confines of this cell witnessed something inexplicable. The cell door closing. It didn't do it once, but twice, seemingly on its own accord. The builder also was overcome with waves of nausea and unease, forcing him to retreat from this cell multiple times. The phenomena is not an isolated incident. Others who have ventured into this cell have reported similar sensations, an overwhelming feeling of sickness and a pressing need to flee. It's as if the very walls themselves hold the echoes of the past suffering, unwilling to release their hold on those who dare to intrude upon their domain.
We've done three events on Halloween, as I always do, and I said, right, I'm going to open the place up at 11 o'clock on Halloween after the events, and anybody wants to come down, bar will be open. I'm going to do ghost stories for Halloween. So I'm sat here with a glass of whiskey, couple sat there. This was full. People came back, everyone had a drink. Young lady sat there filming me, luckily. Behind you now is a CCTV camera. Group of students that had done a ghost walk for all that. And all of a sudden, I'd done a story, and then I handed over to a guy called Peter, who was telling a story. So I've always have a drink, put it down, and I'm listening to Peter. And unbeknown to me, or anybody else for that matter, this glass starts to move across the table. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Threw itself and smashed on the floor. Everybody's like, oh my God, did you? I said, Jesus Christ, hang on, whoa. And I said, did you get it? Did you get it on camera? She said, I don't know. So the first thing I do, because I'm sure you all know, that if you put your pint of beer on the bar and someone spilled beer on it, it can slide across on the liquid. So the first thing I'm doing is it, no guys, it isn't, it's not wet. So the young lady gets up and she says, no, he's telling the truth, it's not wet. So then I went, okay, so they bring me another glass out, right, put it back there. I said, right, there's a road at the back here, Guard Street. It's 20 past 11 at night, but perhaps a lorry, a big, heavy lorry going by, vibration, yeah? So I'm going, right, glass there.
I wouldn't have thought it had been vibrations, Richard.
It couldn't be, but you've got to do this, you've got to tip the knob. And then the last thing, a couple sat there, said, look, I know you didn't do this, but will you notice the table, just in case, right?
It takes some force to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure, I think somebody would have known. And the worst thing is I lost my whiskey.
I might leave that on there tonight, Richard.
Yeah, do, because honestly, by the way, it's on YouTube. You just put up Derby Gaol whiskey glass, and it's there for everyone to see.
Great.
I have only got one explanation. Same explanation as the policeman's uniform in there, and other stuff that goes on in here. Yeah. So I don't know. All I know is this place is haunted. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Welcome to the Association Room, a space steeped in history. Once a bustling day room, the chamber also served as a final gathering place for those condemned to meet their fate. Here, amidst the echoes of farewells and whispered prayers, the veil between the world grows thin. In the year 1817, a sombre event etched its mark upon these walls. Jeremy Brandworth met his end here, his family making the arduous journey from Sutton-in-Ashfield to bid him a final farewell. The raw emotions that have filled this room on that fateful day perhaps linger still to this day. Amongst the spectral sightings reported here, two figures stand out. A man cloaked in a crimson coat has been glimpsed, his presence a spectral anomaly that defies explanation. Alongside him, a bald-headed figure is said to frequent this space, his spectral form a haunting reminder of the souls who have passed through these doors. It is said that the emotions that once filled this room refuse to fade, lingering like restless spirits caught between worlds.
I hope tonight you have a good night. There's quite a gentleman actually working down here.
Oh yeah, you are, haven't you? Just told the story.
And he actually spent the night in here the other night, like you're doing now, and he was actually sat in the kitchen with his he was watching a video on whatever, and he swears to me that he could sense there was someone alongside him and he could hear breathing.
He said something about the candle going out as well.
He said we got some battery candles as well as real candles, and he walked past on his way. He's a carpenter and he's doing all sorts of jobs for me. And he said I walked past one way and the candle wasn't there, and I walked back a couple of minutes later, and the candle had come on. And he says I'm hearing footsteps all the time down here, in not in this room, in the corridor.
I know when we came. I've been a few times, as you know, Richard. But I know when we came with, I think there's about 3 of us.
Yeah.
What we did, we called all the names out of each prisoner.
Of the prisoners.
Now there was one particular. It could have been. I can't remember. Without looking back at the video, it could have been William Buxton. And when we mentioned,
William Buxton.
Now I was up this end, but they heard perfect footsteps. They said after mentioning.
Yeah,
William Buxton.
I'm convinced that because I have this affinity with William Buxton. Because you know the story of the door, don't you? William Buxton door. You know he signed the door here.
Yeah.
Well, you see, it took me 20 years to get that door back. Because when they were converting this 40 years ago into a nightclub, they were pulling the doors off the hinges and stuffing the doors down the side of the skips. And this guy, David Ride, I know his name now, went and pulled one of them out of the skip and took it home with him, put it in his van, took it home.
That's terrible.
And when I opened the jail, he came in and showed me a photograph of the door, propped up against his sofa, and across the top of it was William Buxton, who was Derbyshire's Dick Turpin, a gentleman highwayman, unlike Dick Turpin, who wasn't a gentleman highwayman, but was an absolute gangster, rogue and thief. Whereas William Buxton, son of a farmer from Derbyshire, actually would give money back to people if they hadn't got enough money to pay for the tolls, like you would on the M6 nowadays, you know what I mean, paying the toll. And he'd been sentenced to death twice, and he was hanged in 1780 here. And before they hanged him, he signed that door in there. And just after COVID, we got a phone call at home from this old lady saying, would you like a door from Derby Gaol? And she was David Wright's sister-in-law, and he'd been dead in his flat for 3 months before they found him. And when they went in, that door was still propped up in his front room, in his flat, with William Buxton on top of it. Jesus, I mean, what a story! And there's a book in it. He's a top-notch highwayman, really is. And one day, if I live long enough, I'll write the book about Derbyshire's Dick Turpin. But I'm convinced, because of this, something I've got about him and with him, and the fact that this door came back to me after all these years, I think he haunts this place. I think he's still here.
A lot of people say that one.
I'm convinced. And now what you've just said to me about calling for William Buxton. The thing that really gets me, guys, is all these. I mean, you know, I hate to say it, but Most Haunted, well done, Most Haunted, fantastic job, created the most incredible awareness of the paranormal. But I would ask you, did you ever actually see them investigate?
No.
No. As soon as anything happened, they screamed and ran off. And then went on to the next bit.
I was more interested watching you on Most Haunted Vision. Especially when they sent you off on your own.
Oh, I'm frightened of ghosts.
But I remember you being on one of the episodes of Most Haunted. I don't know what you might be able to jog my memory, but I remember you all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you were in bed and you shot up, and I remember you were.
Oh shit!
I remember your words to this day, and it was, what the bloody hell was that?
Yeah, it's what I was on the Queen Mary.
That's good. Yeah.
Cabin 340 of the Queen Mary. Staying in the haunted cabin, alone. And bloody hell, that was fantastic. You see, would you believe it? Right, we'd been on the Queen Mary for nearly 3 weeks, and there's this haunted cabin. And when I do my filming and all, if I'm staying overnight, then I try and stay in a haunted pub or a haunted hotel, and I ask for the haunted bedroom. So what I couldn't understand was why on earth wasn't someone spending the night in cabin 340. So I made a suggestion, and they said, "Yeah, you're." I said, "No way, no, I ain't doing it. I'm frightened of ghosts, right?" But they said, "Yes, you are. You're doing it." So of course, they volunteered me to do it. But what people don't realise is that the very large whiskey that I had before I dare stay in that room alone, and yeah, during the night, there was this crescendo of a noise, like something. Like I always describe it as something like 50 metal coat hangers being bounced against the walls, a metallic sound which is typical of poltergeist activity. And then later on, that woke me up. But later on, I'm asleep, luckily, you hear footsteps going around my bed. And apparently, according to both David Wells and Derek, a child had been murdered in that room by its father. Mm. And you hear the footsteps going around the bed, and then you hear this little voice go, "Mummy."
Really?
Twice. Now I was asleep, luckily, and it wasn't until we got back to England and they started editing that they found this.
Oh,
and that was something special. That was real. Mm. That was one of the best things that ever happened to me. But I didn't know about it. Mm. Luckily.
Which makes it more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that was good. That was real. Because a lot of what happened on Most Haunted was real. Mm. Some of it wasn't, but that's another story. Yeah.
I think you could tell sometimes by people's reactions what was.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What was true and what wasn't true.
Yes, so true. Yeah. You see, I always say to people, "Have you ever heard of anybody shouting before they fainted?" No, of course you don't. No. But if you didn't shout, the camera wouldn't turn to you before you went down. Enough, Richard. Stop.
Enough, Richard.
Yeah.
So we've now gone into night vision here at Derby Gaol. It's a place that I have investigated before. It's a place that I think I've done it alone. I'm not sure if I've done it alone once or twice. Come back with a few other people. I have come back here alone tonight, so I'm totally alone. There's literally nobody at all in Derby Gaol tonight apart from me. So hopefully something will happen. It's not changed much. A few of the mannequins have moved round since last time I was here. I think it was about 2 years ago maybe when I last investigated Derby Gaol. So I will be coming back here as well, because next time I do come I'm going to investigate the Vernon Street Jail as well, which is about an 8-minute walk away. So we'll be doing that next time I come. But yeah, say nothing much has changed. Say great meeting Richard Felix. What a fantastic gentleman that man is. Absolutely wealth of knowledge. His energy is absolutely amazing. And yeah, he's such a gentleman. He's absolutely fantastic fella. And it was great to see him tonight again and have a bit of a chat with him. Not sure anything will happen tonight. I'm not really sure, but you never know. So just to give you a quick brief tour before we actually start. This is what they call the association room. This is what this is, and this was the room where you went the morning of your execution, and it was also used, I believe, before the prisoner came in here. The magistrates and local sheriff and used to have what they used to call a hangman's breakfast in this room before the hangman brought the person who was getting executed into this room, and they used to have like liver and bacon and that sort of thing. So absolutely, history of it is absolutely unbelievable to think that this went on in this room. I don't think there's a window there. I'm not sure if that window is actually original. I'm not sure if there was actually a window in here when it was the association room, and if there was a window, I don't think it had glass in it. I think it was just bare, but I might be wrong on that. Yeah, this is the bar area. Now this is where obviously Richard, I think it was 3:20 on a Friday afternoon when he was on the phone and he saw a figure walk past that part of the window, or that part of the opening in the wall there. It wasn't really a person, he said it was like a black mass, couldn't tell if it was male or female. It just walked past down this corridor, and this is the corridor where you were taken out when you were executed. This was the last walk that you would have made after you'd been into the association room to say goodbye to your family, say goodbye to your friends, and this would have been, as I said, the last walk before you went outside and then executed at the gallows at the front of the building. So that's that. This little monster here is moved. I think that must be one of the jailers. Don't know which jailer it's supposed to be, but he used to be over in that corner there. But possibly there was a jailer that is supposed to haunt this place, William Eaton, I think it was one of them, who was a jailer here for about 38 years. And apparently he still haunts this place in this jail. I think he didn't get paid as well. He used to have to rob the prisoners for his money to actually get paid. And that was the couple of figures that I was seeing in the association room. I think there's like I said in the introduction, there's a man with a red crimson coat being seen. I think it was either in that corner or that corner, and also a bald-headed gentleman also. So that was one of the jailers. I really don't know. We switch the lights out here, it is pitch black. There is a little bit of emergency lighting on the wall, as you can see, for the infrareds. One there and one there, which is just green lights. That's the way out to the back. Unfortunately now, for whatever reason, when you go out that door now, they've decided to build student accommodation, which is just sacrilege as far as I'm concerned. I'll just show you a quick view. It's outside now in the gardens, and that's where I used to park my car at the back. Unfortunately you can't anymore because they built this massive big, well, you can actually see it on night vision, they built a massive big student block that is in the middle of getting restorated and put up. So that's the end of that. As you can see there, Derby Gaol, built in 1756. Come down there, it's the debtor's cell. I'm walking into now, which is just totally pitch black in here. What I have done tonight is I've done, don't want to bang into that because I've just put some coins round a piece of paper with it being the debtor's cell. And what we'll do, we'll see if they move later on. But some say this is the most haunted cell, more haunted than what the condemned man cell is, and apparently through that window there they used to sell stuff, they used to do all the trading to pay off the debts. So the thing that must have gone on in this jail is just unbelievable. The history of it is amazing. It's just such a shame that, as I say, this is only part of the jail. You know, a lot of the jail now you can't get into. It's businesses and that sort of stuff, and I just think it's absolutely disgusting, to be honest. This is the condemned man cell, obviously. All the straw on the floor, and I've done another trigger object in here, which is a cross. Now I think that's the original cross. If you remember the Most Haunted episode of Derby Gaol, I think that was the original cross that moved. Fortunately, there's no lock-off cameras in there, so if they do move tonight, you're just going to have to take my word for it. I'm not really expecting them to move, to be honest. I'll say this is a condemned man's cell with all the straw on the floor. Nothing much else changed. This is what used to be the police museum. I think Richard was saying it was the day room as well. In here, there's the old gillet. He was either hung or he was put in a gillet and just left basically to rot for the crows to come and peck your eyes out and everything else. There's a dissection going on here as well on this table. I just have to be careful that I don't bump into anything because I don't want to obviously break anything in here. But yeah, there's the dissection. Very nice, is it? As you can see there, they've taken the top of the head off. Original skeleton, that is the original person. It's not something you see in your school or pathology lab. That is actually a real skeleton. It looks like a child, to be fair. It doesn't look a very big person. Yeah, that's the original child or person or whatever it is. You can actually see, if you actually look at the top of the head, you can actually see where they've taken the top of the head off as well, where they've actually cut it. All gruesome stuff, guys. So we're sat in the association room now. It's really quiet. And yeah, I think they said this room possibly haunted by one of the jailers. So we'll call out for the jailer, William Eaton. William Eaton, if you were here with us tonight in Derby Gaol, I'm asking you to come forward. Come and give us a sign that you were here. I think you was a jailer in here for 39 years. In this jail, in Derby Gaol. A place that I thought I heard something then, but I don't think it was from outside. It must be the place that you love to work here that long. If you were here tonight, can you come forward? Give us a sign that you were here. You want to knock on something? Keys on all these tables. That's fireworks from outside. Come on, you were here from 1793 to 1832. You were in this jail a long time. Is it true that you didn't get paid for doing your job? And you used to rob the prisoners for money to give yourself a wage? Is that true? Can you move something in this jail? Maybe one of the bottles behind the bar, if you want to go and shut one of the cell doors. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Again, I was hearing Tillian, but that is from outside as well. It's a little bit noisy here outside tonight. It's been quite a nice day, and I think a lot of people are out still. Do you remember James Preston? Do you remember the prisoner, James Preston? He was here when you was here. Hanged for the murder of a bastard child, I believe. Remember John Brown? Thomas Jackson? George Booth? That was you tapping. Can you tap again, please? Can you knock? That was definitely tapping somewhere. Which, to be honest, I've not heard tonight. I know it could be anything. But as I say, I'm just telling the truth. It's so dark here. You look out there, it's really, really dark. John King, do you remember him? All hand for setting fire to haystacks in 1817. It's amazing how people get upset in this jail. You know, people come back from Richard's ghost walks around Derby and come back here for a hot supper. And a lot of people do become upset now. I know when Amy was here last time, I know most investigations she feels sick and a little bit emotional, but she had that feeling when she was here last time. I remember the most haunted episode, Yvette Fielding, who burst into tears. And when she came back on the live, the most haunted live at Derby, she also started feeling upset again. And I do think that was genuine, to be honest, because sometimes you can just tell. But is it paranormal, or is it just because all the tales and all the despicable acts that have happened in this jail, and is it just something that gets on your mind and you start thinking about it, which makes you upset? I really don't know. William Marwood, the hangman, that used to walk into this room to take the prisoner to the execution. Maybe you're here with us tonight. Can you walk towards me? Can we hear your footsteps? Can you make a sound? Any sound at all? The bald-headed man is seen in this room. Was you the jailer Blythe Simpson? Apparently, that's who they say haunts this room. Can you show yourself in front of me? Can you move one of the candles on the table? There's a glass over in the corner on the table, a whiskey glass. Can you knock it on the floor? It's happened before. Happened when Richard was here. Can you slide that glass off that table? I come back to places to learn more about the places that I actually come to. You know, it's like the ghost type of thing Richard saw. He's never seen it since. Other people have reported seeing things that are very, very similar. But don't forget, this was 3:20 on a Friday afternoon. It wasn't in the middle of the night like it is now. With all the lights out, we're in pitch darkness here, but you know, Richard was just on the phone. I think he was on the phone to Derby City Council. And he said to the fellow on the phone, he says, you better keep me talking, but he said, I've just seen a ghost. So it's like, that was a Friday afternoon in 3:20. So there's no rhyme or reason really where just heard something out there. That sounded like. Now there's some straw in the condemned man's cell. That's the CCTV camera you can hear. There's some straw in the condemned man's cell. And it sounded like somebody maybe walking on the straw. That's what it sounded like. I'm not saying it was, but that's what it sounded like. Are you walking about in the condemned man's cell? If you are, can you bolt the door? But there again, I'm saying that's a CCTV camera. There was no reason for that to come on, obviously, because I'm sat in here. That sounded like a CCTV camera coming on out there. Now, that would only come on by movement. It would not pick me up, sat here. Now, whether that was another noise, or the CCTV camera has picked up on something, and it wasn't long before the CCTV camera clicked on. It was just after I heard, it was just before, sorry, that I heard what sounded like them footsteps on the straw, and that's quite interesting. I know I'm saying it's a CCTV camera, but I'm not walking around, and it wasn't the, I don't even know if there is a CCTV camera in this bit, but it sounded like it was out on the corridor. So that was interesting. Should we go in the condemned man's cell? I've just found the CCTV camera up there, so it possibly could have been that. I'm not really sure now. Didn't know that was there, to be honest. I don't know. I really don't know on that one now. Can you imagine if that dude there was real? Man. Right, was you just walking around in the condemned man's cell? If there's a cross in there, could you move the cross? That's the that's his cell. I just have to be careful when walking because I say, guys, it's so dark. Just going to check this camera just in case. I don't want to go too far because I don't want to bang into it. When I heard that noise before, it just sounded like that. Did somebody kick the straw? This was the, just be careful of that table there, but I don't move it. But this is the room where the two brothers killed themselves and were hanging from up there the night before their execution. I can't think of the names, but what they even did was they got the surgeon to actually try to revive the bodies so they could still go out and publicly execute them. And they were already dead. Doesn't look like the cross has moved at all, to be fair. So is there any prisoners in here? Anybody that wishes to communicate with me? In this cell? You want to close the cell door? Do you want to move the door? Any of the jailers here? I said, sit down there, there isn't, there's a child there as well, and this is what happened. I think it could be up to 10 people in these cells. There's no toilet facilities. There was men mixed with women, mixed with children, mixed with the sane and the insane, and stuff that must have gone on in this room. It's just so hard to believe that this is where people would have spent their last night before their execution. It's just unreal, to be honest. And as you can see, this cell, because it's the condemned man's cell, has no window at all in here. There's no window in this condemned man's cell. So maybe you could, the shackles here, can you move one of these? What I'm going to do later, I know it's not something I usually do, but I'm going to leave the app on the phone in here to see if it does come out with anything, only for experimental purposes. As I say, I don't think there's anything in them, but I think it's an interesting place just to actually put something and just see if it does stir any energy up with some of the words that it comes out with. And if it actually came out with a name of a prisoner or something like that, then yeah, I'd be impressed. So we'll try that later on, just see what happens. And that was a thud of some description. Not sure what that was. The debtor's cell. Let's go and check these coins. See if they've moved. And there's the window where they used to do the passing trade. Say you weren't allowed out of this cell until you paid all your debts. So if there's any debtors in here, any debtors that still come back to this jail for whatever reason, apparently in this cell you make people feel sick, you close this door on many an occasion. The last person who was working on this window here, this old window, the poor builder kept having to leave because he felt sick, nauseous. Can you close the door for me tonight? You've done it before. Can you make a sound? Can you knock? Whistle. Can you show yourself down this corridor? The last walk where you went before you was executed. That's really weird, that, because when I'm not looking through night vision, it looks like he's staring right at me, and he looks like he's got smirking at me. And then when I put the night vision on, it looks like he's looking the other way. That's so weird. He's looking at me now with his eyes without I'm turning the camera away. And then I put that on, he's looking the other way. That's so weird. Spooky bastard. Yeah, so yeah, that's that spooky little fella there. There's also been lots of reports of the smell of roses. I'm not sure if it's in the condemned man's cell or the debtor's cell, but a lot of people have reported that in this cell too. Also reports of a child as well that actually grabs hold of your hand. That has been reported by some of the people that have come off Richard's ghost walks and come back here for the hot pot supper. And now I'm doing that, it looks like he's looking now, right in the camera. A weird mannequin. All matted hair. Such a spooky person. So could you make us smell of roses maybe? Make a smell of flowers. There's all the graffiti on these original doors. I think people have drawn all this stuff on. I'm looking for the V's, the two V's, which some people say they were witch marks, but they were there to, oh, there you go, there's probably one there. What could have been a witch mark, but they weren't. I think they stand for Virgin and Mary. These, it looks like W's, but it's not. It's two V's. Whether that's one or not, I'm not sure. But it looks like they were. But what they were to avoid anything evil getting into the cells, because when there was prisoners here, they were frightened of ghosts. Apparently, they were scared of ghosts. The prisoners that were here. And it's something to do with Virgin of Virgins or something like that, and it was there to protect them basically. It was to stop evil going into that cell, because a lot of them as well were scared of passing over because of the deeds they did, and that's what all these things that are etched on these doors mean. There's names on them and all sorts of dates that are etched into these original. Sounds like it's actually easy to talk through night vision. That's like a shipping anchor there, look at that, what's been drawn. It's like one of the old fashioned tattoos that you used to get in the merchant navies, doesn't it? There's a really clear one there that's been drawn. Taylor. Fourth of December, 10th of December, 1807. See, that's a cell. Now, wherever the doors are original to the cells. So William Buxton, he was imprisoned in Derby Gaol. Are you with us tonight? And I'm sure William Buxton was the one when we were reading the list off the prisoners. That's when Caroline heard those footsteps. I'm sure that was the prisoner's name when we called it out. William Buxton, are you here? Can you give us a sign, please? Can you knock on something? Walk towards me. Show yourself on camera. William Buxton, are you here? Can you come forward? Right, so what we've done, just for experimental purposes only, we've let that spirit app thing run in the condemn. Now whatever happened, I was talking. I feel the breeze just come right around my neck. Like, really cold. Oh, maybe jump because I forgot to switch it on. what I've done, I've let the spirit app running. I've gone all jumpy all of a sudden. I've let the spirit app running in the condemned man cell. I'll say just for experimental purposes only. I honestly don't think there's anything in them. But it actually came out with a prisoner's name. Or one in there on the, as you can see, on the bench where the mannequin is. Are the two brothers here maybe who killed themselves the night before their execution? The jailer opened this door here. This door. You were facing each other just above the door. Are you here with us tonight? If you are, do you want to come and communicate with me? I'd come with no judgment. I'll come here with total respect, no judgment at all of any prisoners that are here tonight. What we're going to do, we're going to try these names out like we did last time, because this was quite interesting. We got to certain names, then Caroline heard those footsteps. Now that's just come out with Stuart, so I'd be interested to see if there's a Stuart on here. So I'm going to read these out again, to see if we do get any response to any of these names. So we'll start from the first prisoner that was executed here in this jail. It was in 1756. John Ratcliffe, are you with us tonight? Your crime was horse stealing. John, are you here? Thomas Hurley, for returning from transportation. Are you here? Charles Kirkman, for the murder of an infant child. That's just come up with Albert. John Ferry and Amos Mason for highway robbery. John Lowe, housebreaking. Charles Peasants, forgery. Matthew Cotlane, murder. James Meadows, highway robbery. Now this is one of the famous ones that we think still haunts this building. If so, make a noise. James Williams, horse stealing. John Shaw for escaping this jail. Well done, John. Thomas Greensmith, robbery. William Rose, horse stealing. John and Benjamin Jones, brothers, for housebreaking. Now the Jones brothers was the ones that actually hung themselves in that cell now. You're outside, are you? The Jones brothers outside? If you are, can you make a sound? If you're there, make a noise. Yeah, the Jones brothers was the ones that got killed, who killed themselves. What are we up to? WM and George Goody and James Pete for burglary. J Shepherd and WM Stanley for rape. John Parson, pickpocketing. Thomas Grundy, poisoning his brother. Joseph Allen, shot breaking. William Ryder, robbery. James Murray, housebreaking. Thomas Neville, for robbing Mr. Morley. James Preston, he's another popular prisoner here, for murder. Thomas Knowles. Evans and John Dent, sheep stealing. Richard Booth and John Parker for horse stealing. William Webster for poisoning 2 people. Anthony Lingard. Joseph Wheeldon. Some of these I can't read because this was a popular one as well. George Batty. Batty was the last person to be hanged outside the jail on Friargate. A total of 58 people were executed, although the Jones brothers, having cheated the hangsman, would have made the total 60, but as was said before, the Jones brothers actually hung themselves the day before their execution. So we've just read those names out. There's no Stuart on there, there's no Albert, no less Stuart and Albert. Could have been a jailer maybe, or it could have just been another prisoner from the debtor's cell. I don't know, but to be honest with you, I'm not really taking. You willingly use what? What are you going to use? I'm not really taking much notice, I would say, just put it on for experimental purposes only. But a couple of those names ring a bell from last time we were here. John Ratcliffe did. Matthew Cochrane. The Jones brothers, obviously. George Batty was another one. They were people, one of the people where we thought we heard the footsteps behind us. But nothing's happened again, doing that experiment tonight. One of these doors to bang or hear some really clear footsteps. That'd be absolutely fantastic. It's a fascinating place, this Derby Gaol. If you haven't investigated this place, then I'd definitely recommend it. I wouldn't recommend a lot of people coming here. I think it's enough for 5 or 6 people, to be honest. Max, personally. When you're looking at association room there behind.
I'm only 6.
You're only 6, are you? You're one of the children in the jail, maybe? Are you the one that holds people's hands? Do you want to come and hold my hand? To the child here who holds people's hands. Do you want to come and hold my hand tonight? I'll put my hand out for you. Wish you no harm. You want to come with me? Give me your hand. Do you want to play a game? Do you want to play a game? If you were a male, a boy child, can you knock once? If you're a girl child, can you knock twice?
I can speak through this.
You can speak through it, good. I'm glad. Can you tell me your name then? Can you tell me your name? If you can speak through that device then, tell me your name. Knock down there. But it could just be the fridges, because that's where the bar area is. So it could just be a couple of noises maybe behind there. If you can speak to it then, tell me your name.
Did you hear that? No, I don't know where that come from because that came from one of these cells. This area, it definitely wasn't. I think that was a real clear knock of some description. Whether it was natural or not, I don't know. But that definitely wasn't from the bar area. That was from this debtor cell where I'm standing outside now. Although it was came from the condemned man's cell. So if that was you knocking, can you do it again, please? Can you knock again? We'll try a couple of EVPs later too, because that's something, again, that I don't really do enough of, and I should. So I'm going to try a couple of EVPs later on and see if we do get any response through that. Was that you knocking? Wasn't the cross moving, was it? Shall we have a look?
Need energy.
You need energy, do you? So do I. If there's a prisoner in here, a condemned man, you want to come and move this cross on this table, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And that goes for anybody in the other cell next door, the debtor's cell. If you want to go and move some of them coins on that piece of paper, I'll tell you what, if you move them coins, you can keep them coins. There you go, I'll leave them for you to pay off your debts. I'll leave them, if you can move them, you can keep them. And you can pay off your debts with that money. Let's check this. See where I'm walking, see if these coins have moved. Again, nothing's moved at all. So as I say, if you want to move those coins on that paper, all the debtors in this cell, you can pay off your debts, pay the person to the blacksmith to break off your shackles, and you can go and walk free. Quick break, my back is absolutely killing carrying this camera, so we'll have a quick break, and then what we'll do then, we'll go back into the association room. Footsteps follow, do they? Follow me then, let's see your footsteps. What we'll do then, we're going to try some EVPs, let's just see if we get anything in the association room.